We'll get to those stories shortly, but first tonight at 6, assessing the aftermath of that inferno that took down the historic Harborside Inn on Block Island Friday night. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm John DeLuca.
And I'm Tiffany Murphy. That massive fire shutting down the island over the weekend. While residents were asked to conserve water, some went without power. Here's ABC 6 News anchor Alyssa Harborside.
Just days after that fire, vacationers spent the day coming off of the ferry. They tell me their weekend was frightening, but they're thankful that everyone is okay. As far as those on the island, they're saddened by the loss of such a historic spot. A weekend getaway that was far from ideal for this group of friends.
We didn't have water most of the day on Saturday, so that was... He was there.
We've got a 1-year-old, so little things like just kind of simple getting her washed and, little basic necessities, it was just really difficult to do.
The trio says they didn't have water or power Saturday while staying at the National Hotel, just 2 buildings down from the Harborside Inn. Multiple agencies worked overnight to put out the blaze scorching from the historic hotel. Vacationer Chris Skelton says he is appreciative of the first responders.
They got it up and running in the afternoon. They were really good with getting bottles of water to us and stuff like that. But the main strip was just really quiet, eerie.
Skelton says the morning after the fire, a pungent odor blanketed the island. He says the entire experience was frightening.
In the morning we woke up and we were like, oh my goodness, look what's happened. And then it kind of brought it home, wow, my kid and my wife were staying home that night, and if it had been one building across, then you'd have been in real jeopardy.
Frightening and devastating, according to Janet Dionis, the education director at the Block Island Historical Society.
To lose any of the original structures from the height of the tourism of the 1880s is really devastating. Yeah, so you feel a real sense of loss.
Dionis says the history at the inn is something you can't recreate. First built in 1879 as the Pequot House, then the Hotel Royal, before becoming Harborside Inn in 1980. She says the inn was one of the first things you see off the ferry, a sign of you have arrived.
You would sit in the lobby and just have a view of the ferry coming and going. So it was just a great spot.
The Harborside Inn is deemed a total loss and will be teared down in the near future. Dionis says all we can do now is salvage what's left as a nod to the past. In Narragansett, Alyssa Harborside, ABC 6 News.